I've already got the cucumbers in flower, so I thought I'd better put them out of the misery and get them potted on. The cucumbers are going to be planted directly into these 32cm pots. As you can see from the bottom, they've got fairly good drainage, so that's going to help it quite a lot. And also these are going to be sunk directly into the greenhouse border, probably about 10cm. To finish it off, we're going to be using the trusty halo rings, which will drop into the pot like that. Now the main objective of that is to help the cucumber, which doesn't like to get its stem wet. So once it's established, all the watering will be done into the ring of the halo ring. One thing with this I had to do, it had little spikes on the bottom which tend to block up and clog. So one option is to drill it out, but I went the whole log and actually sawed them off, which left holes probably about 8mm, which is more than good enough. This compost is quite an open mix. Just normal multi-purpose with perlite added to open up the soil, aerate it and also retain moisture. So that's the pot and the halo complete. All that's left now is to put in the cucumber. About to pot the first cucumber up. This one here is called La Diva, which is one I think I had from Marina, one of the other plot holders. As you can see, there's fruit already on it. I've given the root ball a good soaking, which is quite, well, it's root bound really, but add a bit of mycorrhizal onto the base. Pop it in. All I've got to do now is just secure it with a couple of Velcro ties. So that's the cucumber finally potted into place. You notice I've left about an inch below the rim there. That'll act purely as a reservoir for when I do the watering. But the initial watering will be in through here, but as it gets established the water will go through here and we'll use the top just for feed. We've had a glorious day, been very productive. There's 6 cucumbers ready to go out, another 2 there, and 3 tomatoes to tally up for the greenhouse. We've had a glorious day, made quite a bit of progress. Just give it an update on the allotment greenhouse. As you can see from that, we're almost done. All the pots are semi-sunk into the borders, so the roots will be able to get down into there. Just run you through the borders and actually show you what we've planted. The big pots on the left are cucumbers, 4 cucumbers. Along the back in the big pots we have 3 tomatoes, and along the right here we have another 4 cucumbers in the big pots. In between the pots, in the black pots, are the peppers. Got another 2 down the back and another 3 down this side. The temperature's starting to go down now, the sun's going down, so the light's fading a bit. Plan for tomorrow, one of the jobs I want to do is cut down the foliage around the back of the greenhouse and that, because it is blocking off quite a bit of light, which these will need as much possible now. Another job we've got tomorrow is have a look at the brassicas, what's made the final cut for planting out, and also I've got a few tomatoes, the tumbling toms, to pot up into a basket, so possibly get those done tomorrow. Okay, we're about to start to have a look at the tumbling tomatoes there, planting those up in hanging baskets. These are the plants here. There's about 12 plants there altogether, more than I thought. We'll probably be doing 2 baskets, and this is the type of thing, there'll be 14-inch baskets. You see, I've probably showed you this before, it's just a 6-inch soil pipe, chopped off about an inch and a half. Put that down, the basket sits nicely on it, allows you to work okay. I've got another one of these, the basket liners. When I bought these last spring in Malvern, I bought 6 in the pack. I've only used 4, so I've got 2 left, just enough for the ton baskets, and they just drop in nicely. So I'll get the liner sorted out, some compost mixed up, and I'll bring you back. This is a fairly open mixed compost, just multi-purpose with lots of perlite added. And I've just added a bit of bloodfish and bone and all to get a bit of food during the season. I'll be planting out 4 tomatoes to each basket, which just happens to coincide with the gaps between the chain supports. Planting quite close to the edge. Add a drop of mycorrhizal to the root balls of these, and then the idea is to, because they're trailing, to angle them out slightly, leaning over, and then they'll look after themselves. Give them a nice firm in. You can actually plant these a bit deeper, like you would with most of the tomatoes, and that's about it. Bring the final one onto here, and that's the basket planted up. It looks a bit bedraggled now, but give that a water and I'm sure in a few days it'll be fine. The only bed that's left now is this one here, which is going to be for the brassicas. Originally the plan was to start early this morning, but overnight we've had quite a lot of rain and it's continued for most of the morning. All that's left out now is to remove these covers. I'm not going to prepare the soil or anything. It's quite firm down because of the stuff what's been lying on it, so all I'll do is bore the holes out. First thing I've got to do is clear all this off. So these are the final 3 beds left on the allotment to plant up, and these will all be done with the brassicas. This middle bed here looks a little bit dry, so because it's had the covers on, but hopefully we might get a bit of rain tonight, then tomorrow morning start planting out. You join me for an early start today because the objective is to try and get this bed, if not all, most of it planted out with the brassicas. I've got my list here of all the brassicas that I've grown. The plants are actually in the garden. What I've done, I've segregated them into their types, so I can pick the actual best plants before they do go out. I'll be starting off with the sprouts. I've already got a line going down. There'll be 2 rows of sprouts. I've not decided yet whether to put 3 or 4 in each bed. The beds have been covered up, and you can see this one here is a little bit dry, but hopefully feeling underneath is not too bad, so we should be okay. First of all, I'll be using the ball planter for making the holes, and then I'll be adding lime a bit later on, but I'll show you as we go along. I've already got the string line laid out on the bed, so using my trusty marker, I've decided I'm going to put 4 plants per bed, so there'll be a total of 12 in one row, 2 rows, 24 plants. So let's get marking out. Before I start planting, I'll just show you I'm using a conventional ball planter, and if you look, the ball planter is much deeper than the actual plot the plant is in. I'll be plugging the hole that deep so that the actual spreads will actually get deeper, because it's important at this point to get the brassica a good firm hold in the ground, because if you let them sway, they do tend to blow the plants. Also, once I've got established, I'll be putting some stakes into the ground to actually hold the support as well. That'll give them a bit more support against any wind, rock or anything like that. So that's the whole cord out. there. Here's the plant here. It's got a nice restricted root ball, as you can see. Into the hole I'm going to put some garden lime, quite a lot. On this site we sometimes get plagued by a thing called club root, which is like knuckles what grow on the root, and it does actually slow the plant down. You can get chemicals, or could do, called Militox, but that's been taken off the market. Similar product to J's fluid. Although there's another thing you can use, and that's called Polka, which is a granulated form, and then when you add water to it, it turns into a hydrated lime. But because I'm way behind this year, I haven't bothered. So hopefully the lime dusting will keep away any club root that could potentially be in the ground. All that's left now is to give them a gentle watering. You'll have noticed that I've put a dusting of lime around each plant. That's to surround the soil and all with lime, just to get as much in there around the plant and hopefully help ward off the club root. Once this is finished, there's still all the other brassicas to plant out, the cabbages, cauliflower, calabrese. Planting method exactly the same with the ball planter. Plant deeper than the plant is in the pot, add a bit of lime, firm the soil, and job's a good one. I planted these in a double row at the back of the border purely because I didn't want the sprouts to cast any shadows as the grouse are tall, and them in the ground for quite a long while. Like this should cause minimum disruptions because that there is south facing, and all the plants in front there will not get covered by shadow. So they are all planted out now. I'll just give them a sprinkle with the house pipe just to bed them in, and I'll let you know what they are. I'm reading off a bit of paper, so my mind's brilliant. These two back rows I said before, those are sprouts. These here. All the remaining plants in here are calabrese, and that's the Iron Man. So that's a total of 12, 4 by 3. The middle bed here, all those are cauliflower, 4 by 3. And just read on the paper, there's Clapton, and all year round it's 6 of each. And on the end bed, those there are cabbages, 4 by 3 rows, and those are greyhound and golden acre. All that's left now is to put the metal pins up and to put the net on. That's the brassica net now in position. One little addition I have done: to each of the 24 sprout plants I've added a stake so that the plant can be secured as it grows in height. To finish off, I had a few little queries on the last video I put up about how I mark out the carrot boxes, the ones that are below here, and must admit to cheating a little bit. I'm just about to do another box over here, and I use a version of this, obviously smaller for that one. This one's going to be bigger because I'm going to have bigger spacings for the carrots, and all it is a metal grid. And what I do, I'll place that onto the grid like that, and press it into the soil. Now you've got two options. You can either put your dibber in the centre of the hole like that, or what I actually do is press this down firmly, and where the wires cross, it leaves the indentation in the bed. Lift that out, and now we have our beds marked out, and just dib it, clear the lines, and everybody thinks you're a genius.